Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to onboard Cisco cEdge in our SD-WAN topology. In the lab I'm going to use CSR 1KV virtual router. So this is the topology that we are continuing in the lab, and you can see in the right side I'm adding cEdge 4, and I'm going to connect to the internet router so that it can communicate to your controllers. So you need to download the software for your cEdge. I'm using CSRV iOS XE SD-WAN image 16.12.3. So I'm going to use this OVA file since I'm using VMware EXSA server. So before we onboarding, we have to download the serial license file for CSR 1KV. The licensing steps and procedure is exactly same which I described in my previous video, licensing for VH. The only difference is when you go to a plug and play portal, and when you click on the devices, and when you click on add devices, add software devices, you give base PID value for VH cloud. Instead of that, you have to give CSR 1KV, and you have to select the same vBond profile, then only it will accept in the vManage. If you have not seen the video about how to generate the license and download in the vManage, I have given the link for that in the description. You can check that. So this is our vManage. I have already downloaded the serial file for our CSR 1000V. You can see there are 3 serial number which I downloaded. So I'm going to use the first one for our cEdge 4 onboarding. And now we are ready to configure the CLI. I'm going to show the onboarding procedure for cEdge 4 in the CLI mode. So this is our cEdge 4 CLI. You can say show platform, show version. So this is the iOS, Cisco iOS XE SD-WAN image. So you have to, when you give show run, this is the default config in the router. And if you want to check the SD-WAN config, you have to give show SD-WAN running configuration. So all your system configuration, tunnel interface configuration will go under this. So you can say the SD-WAN, under SD-WAN OMP, all these things there. So let's check what are the interfaces are there. Show IP interface brief. This is the Cisco iOS XE image, so I'm giving show IP interface brief. So one interface I am already using for management, and I'm going to use Gigi 2 for my transport VPN, and I'm going to use Gigi 3 for my service VPN. That is my LAN interface. And one more thing to note here is when you give config space T, it won't take. You have to give config -transaction, then only it will go for the config mode. So let's configure the interface. Interface gig 2, giving no shut. The IP address 60.60.1.2. You have to give the mask like this, like how we give in iOS. So I'm going to configure default route. So the saving option is you have to give commit. IP route 0.0.0. So now we have to configure a tunnel interface, and we have to call the physical interface under that. I'm going to call it tunnel interface 1, no shut, IP unnumbered. So the tab doesn't work, you have to type it. Tunnel source. And then tunnel mode SD-WAN. commit this. Okay, so we have to configure the SD-WAN config also. So I'm going under configuration, we have to give SD-WAN. So under SD-WAN you have to configure the interface gig. So again I have to type it gigabit Ethernet 2, then the tunnel interface, and after that you have to give allow services like how I given in my previous videos, allow services all. Then I give the allow service for net config. Then encapsulation is important, you have to give encapsulation IPsec. And you also mentioned the color which I used in my lab biz internet. Let's see, I can commit now. Yeah, now I'm able to commit. Now we will configure the system parameters. So for system parameters also like a system IP, site IP, organization name, so all these details you have to go to first config mode, then you type SD-WAN. Under SD-WAN you give system IP. Okay, I have to give system system IP site ID. I'm gonna give 14 for this one. Org name, same name. Bound IP 2020.1.1. So this is our system config under SD-WAN. Now let's verify the config that we have done. Show IP interface brief. So WAN interface IP I have configured, tunnel interface is also there, and show SD-WAN run. We can check the SD-WAN configuration we have done. So that in the top you can see the system details, system IP, system ID, organization name, vbound IP, and then your SD-WAN config. Here is our SD-WAN config, SD-WAN interface name, tunnel interface, encapsulation, color, allow services, all. So now we have to install the root certificate. I have already copied it, so it will be under location dir boot flash. Okay, I have to give include. So this is my root certificate. I'm going to install the root certificate. So the command to install the root certificate is request platform software SD-WAN root certificate chain, then install the location boot flash colon certificate. So request platform software SD-WAN root cert chain, install the location, and then enter. So now the root certificate has been installed. Now we have to onboard this, like how we onboard by using the chassis number and the token. So I'm going to use the first CSRV. So in the right click, generate a bootstrap config, cloud inet. So this serial number I'm going to configure chassis number and the OTP. So the command is pretty much same, request platform software SD-WAN you have to include. After that it's vhcloud activate chassis, the same command. So chassis number, then the token, so I have given the token, so I have entered it. So now you can see the status is showing a bootstrap configuration generator. So we'll wait to see. Okay, now you can see the status is changed to CSR generated. Soon it will come like this. Okay, now we can see the CSRV is onboarded. You can see it's showing us a router here. We have not given any host name so far, so it's showing us a router name. So now I'm in the CLI. I'm going to configure the router name, config-t. Host name, I'm going to give cEdge-4 and then commit. Then we'll see whether it is getting changed here. So now we can see the router name also changed to cEdge-4 and it is in sync. Let's go to monitor networks and cEdge-4. Let's check the tunnel. Okay, so the tunnel is up between all the other vEdges, and we also check the control connections. So the control connection with vSmart and vManage is also up. So if you go to the main dashboard, we can see. So total we have 5 WAN edge now, including the vEdges. So you can see the version 16.12. So now let's go to the cEdge and just check show SD-WAN OMP routes. So you don't see any OMP routes because we have not configured the LAN interface. Show IP interface brief. If you see that the gig 3, I have not had to configure anything. So we have to configure that now. Okay, you have to give config-t. So I have configured the gig interface 3 with the IP address 160.10.10.1, and next thing is like we have to call a VRF definition. I mean, you have to create a VRF and call a VRF forwarding under this interface. And remember that we have to use the same VPN number that we used for our service VPN in other vEdges. So there we have used a VPN 10, and here we have to call it as a VRF 10. So if you give any other number other than 10 like 11, 12, then LAN to LAN connectivity will not work. So I have configured VRF definition 10 and given the RD 1:10, and you have to give address family IPv4 and then commit. Now I have to go to the interface. Interface gig 3 is my LAN interface, and I have to call this VRF forwarding 10 and then the commit. So now we can check the routes. When you give show IP route, you won't see that. You have to give show SD-WAN OMP routes. Here you can find the routes that you are receiving from the other vEdges. So we can see that we are receiving from VH2 that we are using 172.168.10. So like that the entry goes. So you can also give show OMP peers. So from vSmart we are receiving 4 routes. So you can go to this is VH1. You can just give show IP route. You can see my cEdge route here coming from 60.60.1, and I can try to ping that IP using VPN 10. I can ping. So that's the procedure how you onboard cEdge in the SD-WAN topology.